wonderful learning individuals. How are you all doing today? It is so great to have you here. Thank you also so much for pressing the play button. I am Johnny, your host with HomeCountry Mathematics. Now, let's learn some math together, shall we? Alright guys and gals, as usual, it is so great to have you. Thank you for learning along with the channel. You are much appreciated. We are on Unit A, Section 1-4. The topic is multiplying and dividing rational numbers. What are rational numbers? Well, for the most part, we've been working with whole numbers, decimal values, and fraction forms. Improving our skill sets, with positive and negative values. All right, let me clean this up. And we're going to do another. We shall continue on. All right. Yes, we are in the area of substitution and substituting. All right, here we go. N plus P, supposed to be an N, plus P. All right, this is perfect. This is where we improve our skill set with positive and negative rational numbers, okay? All divided by M. Okay, N plus P, all divided by M. All right, again, substitution. We have N, which is 6.5. Plus P, which is also a positive 3.2. Okay, and that's all being divided by M, which is a negative. Okay, guys and gals, you can quickly figure out what your sign is going to be easily. Probably the smartest thing to do, I mean, if you look at this, we're in the numerator parts, right? They are separate of each other, right? The numerator is separate of the denominator. That's what the fraction bar does. It's a separating line, okay? So the numerator is independent of the denominator, correct? We can clearly see that we have an addition step, and they're both blah, blah, blah. Bear with me, guys and gals, just one of those days. We have two positives, right? So that means we're increasing. We all know this when we're adding two numbers together, right? We're increasing in value. Okay, so with that said, I can actually figure out my sign already because I know my answer is going to be positive in the numerator and I'm going to have a negative for a denominator. But we can show the work still. All right, so I guess you could look at it as basic BEDMAS, PEDMAS stuff, but we really have to solve and complete the numerator first, right? Before we do any division. We need a singular decimal number before we could do the next step, right? All right. Let's continue. 6.5 plus 3.2. As a matter of fact, I don't know why I wouldn't show the work. It's real easy addition. Again, when you're adding or subtracting decimal values, you line up the decimals. Okay, always. Okay? That's what I mean. And then it's just simply adding, and just like any regular addition, 5 plus 2 is 7, 6 plus 3 is 9. So we have 9.7, which is a positive. We increased in value, correct? And that's being divided by negative 8. Commonly, I like to put my negative up top, but it doesn't matter. We're dividing a decimal. If we had a fraction was 9 over 8, I would put the sign at the top. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say. Again, we have a decimal value. Fractions don't have decimal values, right? So we have to do the math. I could do the long work, but I want to try to save some time here and I guess shorten the videos and also get more done or completed. More examples for you. 1.21. So here's the way I look at it. We have our givens or knowns are to the 10th place, right? 10th place, this is ones. So therefore our answer can be only as accurate as what we are given. Okay, makes sense? Therefore I'm going to just put my final answer as, there's no rounding, my final answer is going to be 1.2. Don't forget your sign. 1.2. Before you move on and go to another question or a new problem, again, problems are just fun challenges. I recommend that you remind yourself, what's my sign? You ask yourself, what is my sign? Is it a positive or is it a negative answer? Okay? Alright, hopefully I didn't mess anything up and we are good. Let's do another. This time it's M plus P. That is all divided by Q. M plus P all divided by Q. What do we get? These are good. I like these. The reason I kind of got excited about this is because now you're getting more practice with positive and negative values and figuring out the answer, right? Based on kind of integer number line grid kind of, knowledge, right? All right. M is negative 8. Plus P is 3.2. That's all divided by Q, which is also a negative. Again, same logic, guys and gals. You must complete the numerator first, just like, you could kind of think of it as BADMAS, PADMAS. Again, we need a singular. It doesn't matter if it's a whole number, right? Being divided by another whole number or a negative divided by another negative, as an example, right? Okay, we need a singular value for a numerator and a singular value for a denominator before we can continue on, right? All right. Equals. Let's do the math here. Now, look at the values, right? negative 8 is deep in the negative area, right? Here we are, negative 8. We need at least a positive 8 jumps just to get to 0. Okay, makes sense? Remember, positives go to the right, negatives go to the left, 0 is center. Okay? We're going positive jumps to the right, only 3 jumps, so like 3.2 jumps. It's not very much, right? Obviously, it's less than 8 because we need 8 just to get to 0. Therefore, with that thinking and knowledge, we know our final answer is also going to be a negative because we're still in the negative zone, if you will. All right, makes sense? So we're going positive 3 jumps. 1, 2, 3. Our answer is going to be negative 5, somewhere around there, plus or minus whatever it works out to. Okay, makes sense? I always look at the sign, right? Whatever, just ignoring the signs, just ignore them for now. We know 8 is a bigger value than 3 is, right? If we were to round it. So that means whatever the bigger number is, that's going to be our sign, okay, for our numerator. All right, let's do the math. That makes sense, I hope, right? Trying to figure the best way to explain it without complicating it. So essentially, I'm subtracting because we're decreasing, right? We're not increasing. Again, if we were going negative jumps, we're increasing. In this case, we're subtracting. We're going less. All right. So I can subtract. I already know what my sign is. Did I already do it? Yes, 3.2. I get 4.8, which is roughly 5, like I said. And that's all going to be divided by negative 5.4. All right? Math rules, a negative times a negative. We have an even number. Negative times a negative is going to give us a positive. It's the same thing with division. A negative divided by a negative is also going to give us a positive. Okay, you just got to remember these things. You could either remember a negative times a negative is a positive, a negative divided by a negative is a positive, a negative times, and it's a lot to say, right? That's why I kind of came up with this even odd theory. It's kind of my own thing. It's not taught in normal school, as far as I know. Whoops, I forgot my decimal. Apologies. Negative 4.8 divided by 5.4. I know what my sign is going to be already, so I could just divide by 5.4, and I get 0.89 repeating. So essentially, I could just write 0.8 9, and then use a line bar to show that it's repeating. But recall, repeating values are also rational numbers. All right, good job. Let's do another. M subtract 2n. All right. Looks kind of like an H. N. Close enough. That is all divided by a negative n plus q. Okay? M subtract 2 times n, all divided by negative n plus q. Okay? It's not so bad. All we have to do is substitute. So we have a negative 8. Bring your sign. We're working on the numerator right now. 2, I'm going to use a bracket. N is 6.5, which should give us 13. And that's going to be all divided by a negative n, which is turning this positive to a negative now. 6.5. Essentially, that's what it's doing. Okay. Okay, we're essentially saying negative 1 times 6.5, which is going to give us a negative, okay? That's how the magic happens, okay? It's not shown, but that's essentially what's happening. Because I could write it as a negative 1 and then substitute the 6.5, okay? All right, negative 6.5 plus q, which is, I'm going to use brackets because of the negative sign, and 5.4. All right, let's just continue the work this way. Probably too long. Let's go something like that. Okay. So let's do the work. Let's work on the numerator. Negative 8 is just going to hang out for now. We have to do this, right? We have to get this multiplication done. All right, we have 6.5 times 2, which should work out to 13. 6.5 times 2 is 13. So we have two nice whole numbers for a numerator. Negative 6.5. Now, what happens here, right? A lot of people don't know this, but you do. There is a secret or magical imaginary 1 there. It's the same thing as what I showed you earlier. What's happening here is positive 1 times a negative 5.4. Math rules, a positive times a negative is going to give us a negative. Okay? So I'll leave that there. So we're going to end up, the sign changes. 5.4. All right, let's continue the work. Just bringing it down here now. So 7 to 20, we're increasing because both the signs are the same. We're increasing. I could show it here, I guess. I'm going to begin at negative 13. Whoops, that was the wrong one. I'm going to begin at negative 13 and go negative 8 jumps. I'll show you the work. Negative 13. We're going negative 8 jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did I do that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My brain just broke. 13 plus 8, 21. I knew the answer was 21. What was I doing wrong there? Did I start at the wrong position? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sheesh! I started at 11, didn't I, guys and gals? I do apologize. My mind already knew the answer. That's why I was questioning myself. 21. Okay, so we have essentially negative 6.5 and a negative 5.4, right? Again, we're increasing. Okay, both negatives, we're increasing, therefore our final answer is also going to be a negative. Because I know that, I could simply, because I already know my sign, I could simply add these two values together. Simple addition, we're increasing. 6.5 plus 5.4, 11.9. I could also go like this, 6.5, put the negative sign on there, and then go subtract 5.4, and I should get negative 11.9. Negative 11.9. Now we have a whole number being divided by decimal value. Okay, so we have to do it, we have to work it out mathematically, right? We can't really keep that as a fraction, is what I'm trying to get at. So looking at this, again, same rules. A negative times a negative gives us a positive. In turn, also, a negative divided by a negative will give us a positive. Okay. All right. Here, I gotta keep bringing this up. I close it, open it, close it. It's the only way I could really show you the steps. 21 divided by 11.9. I get 1.76. Lots of digits, but again, we don't need to know all these extra values, guys and gals. The accuracy we have is 0.5, tenths place. Tenths place. Tenths place. Tenths place. So we have, I could round it really. 6 is greater than 5, that means 7 is going to increase. My answer is going to be 1.8. Tenths. Tenths. That's the accuracy, okay? That makes sense? I hope so. We can only be as accurate as what we are given. Unless, of course, your instructor or parent or the question itself asks you to give it to the hundredths place or the thousandths place. Well, you'll have to do that, right? If it's not given to you to, display your answer in a certain significant digit, like tenths, hundredths, thousands, then just assume, the accuracy. It's the best you could really do. Okay, how are we doing for time? That's it. I appreciate you watching along. Stay tuned. We're going into a new section. I hope that helps you guys and gals with signs and whole numbers and decimal values and fractions and figuring out what your final answer is going to be. Is it a positive or a negative? Here to help, I am Johnny. Stay tuned for the next unit. We're going into Unit A, Section 1-5, the percentage portion. Stay tuned. It's great to have you, and I'll see you there. Take care for now.